What's up everybody, I'm Duncan Deep and welcome to 5 basic tips for new hunters in Monster Hunter World. I know a lot of you guys are new to the series with Monster Hunter World and I thought I'd give you guys a few tips and tricks to make your life a little easier. These are tips that veterans probably already know, but there will be a lot on the channel in the future for everybody from beginner all the way up to the veteran hunters like me who've been playing since Monster Hunter 1, so please keep an eye out for those. Our first tip is going to be to set up item and equipment loadouts. This is the biggest quality of life tip I can give you. This will make your life so much easier because it will make your prep time for every hunt so much shorter. You can do this by heading to your equipment box and hitting the options button while managing either your equipment or your items. Once you've done this, it will bring out your loadout screen. If you press X, you will load one of those loadouts into your inventory or onto your equipment. And if you press triangle, you will register your current equipment or item loadout into the slot that you have highlighted, allowing you to instantly replicate this item or equipment loadout at any time. My second and a very important tip is to test and practice every one of the 14 different weapons in the game. It is impossible to know before you've played with it which weapon in Monster Hunter World will fit your playstyle, and testing out every single weapon is the best way to find the one that actually fits for you. An amazing addition to the series in Monster Hunter World is the training area, which will allow you to test weapons on a training dummy and really find the flow of each weapon's combinations, how much damage each weapon does per hit, whether you want to go with one of the faster weapons, one of the slower weapons, one of the more technical weapons. It's really up to you, but you need to test every single weapon. Weapon guides on YouTube can only get you so far. After that, you need to have your hands on a controller and be testing the weapon out to know which one you want to use. I have seen so many new hunters come in and say, this is the weapon I want to use, struggle, not enjoy the game, be upset that the weapon wasn't working like they've seen other YouTubers or other players use it, and then finally decide to switch weapons and have a much better time of it once they've switched over to a weapon which actually fits their style of play. My third tip used to be a link to the Monster Hunter Wiki and to tell people to check what each monster they were going to hunt was weak to before hunting it. Luckily, that isn't required anymore because there is the in-game Monster Field Guide, which will tell you the monster's weaknesses to cutting damage, impact damage, shot damage, and each element and status in one glorious page. This is probably my favorite addition to this game at this point for new players, because it allows new players to actually have a natural game progression feeling of learning what the monster's weak to by playing the game, rather than having to go and sort through a massive online wiki just to know whether they're using the correct weapon, or whether they need to be hitting their legs with their sword, or whether it's actually the head that's weak to cutting damage on this monster. It is a fantastic addition to the game and cannot be argued with, and that is why it's one of my 5 best tips for new hunters in Monster Hunter World. Tip number 4 is more to do with actual hunting. We're finally there, guys. We are going to be talking about environmental traps and damage. The environment in Monster Hunter World can be manipulated to do huge amounts of damage or to trap monsters in order to give you more opportunities to do damage to them. If you are struggling with a particular monster, how about luring it to the area of the ancient forest where you can drop giant boulders on its head for a huge amount of damage? If a monster in the Coral Highlands is giving you trouble, remember that if you can make it flinch on top of the mushroom tops, it will sink inside and it will act trapped for a good amount of time. Things like this are really, really useful for improving your hunts or even just getting used to newer monsters. Talking of getting used to newer monsters, we're on to tip number 5. This is probably the most important tip for new hunters who are learning this game, and that is to watch the monster before fighting it for real. Even if you have to head out on an extra hunt taking a shielded weapon like the lance or gun lance in order to just put your shield up and observe the monster, that is what you should do. If you're ever struggling with a hunt, if it's a new monster that you don't quite know how to beat, you should not just keep throwing yourself into it and triple carting over and over again. That is not an efficient way to learn the monster's patterns. The best way to learn that monster's attack patterns and tells is to sit there behind a shield and just watch. Now, in this game, you can actually go and change your weapons and armor mid-hunt. So you could observe it for 10-15 minutes of your 50-minute timer, change your weapons, and then beat it all in one hunt, but you still have that opportunity to observe. This is a tip I don't see many veterans sharing anymore, but it is a tip that we used to share in the community all the time. So I can't emphasize this enough, guys. There is nothing to be ashamed of just hiding behind a shield, not even hitting the monster until you have learned its patterns, how it moves, how it tells you what it's going to do next, and then you can go and easily defeat it with your main weapon after changing up your gear in camp, which is something we weren't able to do before. We actually used to have to abandon quest and then head back in with our main weapon. As a bonus tip right at the end, and more of a plea to the new hunters that I've been hunting with in Monster Hunter World, please eat before you hunt. It's so much easier now because even if you forget to eat in base, you can still eat in camp on the quest. It is so easy to get massive boosts from your food before you hunt, and I've seen so many people going in with the regular sized HP bar, regular sized stamina bar, not eating before they hunt, and it's depressing because it's such a massive advantage. You can get attack up large from your food and it lasts for pretty much the entire hunt. You can boost up your maximum stamina from 100 to 150 without using up your well done steaks. You can get a boosted health bar of 150 without drinking a max potion. It is absolutely vital that you eat before you hunt, guys. Plus, this animation you've been watching while I've been ranting about this is pretty amazing, and you want to see it as often as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope it helped out any new hunters among you. I do plan on doing videos like this for advanced hunters and even for veteran hunters in the coming weeks, so please keep your eyes open for those, and I'll see you guys next time.
Alright then, guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you can click up here to see more videos of this type on my channel. If you want to check out something else a little bit different, then you can click down here. And if you want to see everything that I upload, you can click the subscribe button right here.